Morning, everybody. And on this fine Wednesday, we have ourselves 3 games. And it hit me after last night's games were done. I thought this is probably the last night of the year we're going to see 4 hockey games. There's 3 tonight, there's 3 tomorrow. The Capitals and the Canes have an extra day off in between games. So we've got these 3. And it's a good thing they gave that extra day off because it means we've got 3 games tomorrow instead of 2. Because 2 series are finished. But yeah, so we've got a shot at seeing whether or not some of these series might be over in 5. Starting with Toronto. All right, Toronto, you're in the driver's seat against these guys. This is my Black Accelerator Tyler Seguin jersey, so it's kind of a dual purpose because I cheer for Boston, I cheer for Dallas. Works. Because Sagan's gone to Dallas and worked out for me on that level. Anyways, Boston's in Toronto and Boston's up against it. And this is a rarity. And Boston is not a team that does well when they're behind in a series. I know when they fell behind against Tampa last year, I kind of went, "Oh, that's it." And there were people who were like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "No, that's pretty much it." And then that was it. Tampa knocked him out before getting knocked out by the Capitals. Now, Toronto should be a little bit extra inspired knowing that their next opponent would be Columbus. And I don't say that as an insult to Columbus. It's just it means that the next round you're gonna have home ice advantage. And it feels like this Stanley Cup playoffs just opened up a little bit. On the Boston side in this series, which is led by Toronto 2-1, Marchand leads the way with a goal, 2 assists. He's got 3 points. He has 0 penalty minutes in 3 games. That's the way Marchand played in the second half of the year. Pretty clean. He took a lot of penalties the first half of the year, second half not as many, and puts up the points. There are 6 players with 2 or more points, but I will tell you right now, if there isn't concern in that Boston locker room with not getting enough goals, there should be. McAvoy and Chara are both scoreless, and McAvoy and Chara are also the pairing that I'm most concerned with on the Boston Bruins, because while people may point to Chara and go, "Well, he's the one that's the problem," I don't think either of them have been playing particularly well lately, and they were the best tandem that the Bruins had for large portions of this season. On the Toronto side, Mitch Marner, 2 goals and an assist. Tavares, a goal and 2 assists, and they have 6 players with 2 or more points as well. They're getting the goals when they need them, and it definitely feels like there's been a shift in this series with their most recent win, and we'll see if that continues tonight. Remember, all Toronto has to do, you don't lose at home, you win the series. They are potentially on the way to doing so. And if they win this one, they force Boston to win 3 in a row. And they switch things up. Last year it was Boston got up 3-1. Toronto wins game 5, Toronto wins game 6, and then it was game 7 that Boston won. Flip the script a little bit this year. Now, Kapanen, Hyman, and Gardner are the guys who stand out as being scoreless so far in this series. It hasn't hurt them. Kapanen's been close on occasion. Hyman does a lot of other things on the ice to aggravate the other team, so if he's not scoring, it's alright. And Gardner, well, we haven't been talking about Gardner for all the wrong reasons, so I think he'll be okay with that as well. Tuukka Rask, a .928 save percentage. Freddie Anderson, a .939 save percentage. Anderson, in my opinion, has outdueled Rask so far. We'll see if that continues tonight. I don't anticipate any goaltending changes being made in this one. And the whole backup goalie thing with Toronto really hasn't been an issue at all. Again, it doesn't matter who the backup is because they got Freddie Anderson as the starter. And I've been a Freddie Anderson supporter for the entire 3 years this channel's been around. Back when Toronto traded for Frederik Andersen, I came out and said, this is a pretty smart move by the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a good sign that they're getting their goaltending in order when other people thought, well, has Freddie really faced a lot of shots? He hasn't really been behind a flawed defense, and Toronto's seen as not having the same defense that Anaheim did at the time. Well, here we are. So, yep. Next up, Nashville. So, the boringest series, as some might call it. I would put it as, yeah, it is more of a chess match than the other series. It is that way because that is how Nashville plays, and that's how Dallas has to play. Dallas can't play a wide open game. If this was a wide open, back and forth chances every 2 seconds kind of series, then Dallas is hosed. They have the one line, which is really, really good, and then there's everybody else. And until everybody else starts scoring, they can't win a 5-3, 6-4 style game against Nashville. Nashville will win those games. Nashville's up 2-1. They could take a stranglehold and go home looking for the series victory on Friday. I could, as soon as this weekend, not have a team left that I'm cheering for in the playoffs, which is nothing new. It's not new at all. That's kind of a thing that happens often. And anyways, the Nashville Predators, 5 players with 2 points. Not 2 or more, 2 points. And it really shows you just how spread out the scoring has been when Rocco Grimaldi with 2 goals is their leading goal scorer. Arvidsson, Johansson, Sissons, all still scoreless. And eventually that's going to change. Eventually Arvidsson is going to get it going. Johansson's going to get it going. And we'll see if it's in this series or if it's in October. We'll see if Dallas can get the victory tonight and keep this series interesting. On the Dallas side, Jamie Benn with a goal and 2 assists, 3 points to lead him. 6 players have 2 or more points in this series. Hintz, Foxa, and Dickinson stand out as players who are held without a point so far in this series. I could have thrown other guys up there too, but for me, this is really a series that has turned kind of in the direction that I'd expected it to. Rene has a .936 save percentage, and Bishop has a .931 save percentage. Yeah, this series, that's sort of the way these things go. I don't really have a whole lot else to add to this. It feels like Nashville's the better team, and I think the spirit's there with Dallas. I don't know that they have a roster top to bottom that can keep up with Nashville over the full length of this series. Love the first line, everything after it. There's some good guys there, some players I really like, but when it comes down to, I think this guy can score a goal to tie it up at 2 in the last couple of minutes of the third. Yeah, other than Ben Sagan, Radulov, put Radulov and Sagan together, you get Reagan. And then Zuccarello, of course, on the second line. But you got to have other guys with him. And Jason Spezza no longer gets points, so I don't even talk about him because he doesn't get points. It's that era we're living in now where Dallas is seemingly in the midst of flirting with respectability, but we'll see how things end up for them. All right, last game of the night I'm going to be looking at is the Calgary Flames in against Colorado. And the Colorado Avalanche are up 2-1. I tell you, Calgary, if not for that shutout series or shutout win in the first game of the series, I think we would be talking about Colorado being ahead 3-0. Like that game feels like it was in a whole other series in games 2 and 3. Colorado is picking up momentum here. They're picking up steam. They're getting better. Bennett leads Calgary in scoring with a goal and 3 assists. So the good news for Calgary fans is Sam Bennett appears to have arrived. There are 5 players with 2 or more points. Furlik, Ryan, and the real deal, James Neal, all don't have points yet. So Neal's struggles in the regular season have gone and carried over into the postseason. And that's something that he was being paid in part because of his playoff resume, and now here we are, and Calgary's flirting with going down 3-1. Now, odds are one of these 3 series ends up being 2-2, but the way these playoffs are going, momentum playing such a large role, I'm guessing 2 out of these 3 series end up being 3-1 by the end of the night. On the Colorado side, McKinnon, 3 goals and an assist. Rantanen, 1 goal and 3 assists. They both lead the team with 4 points. There are 7 players in Colorado with 2 or more points so far. And yeah, Colorado is absolutely on a roll. Jost and Soderberg stand out as guys without points so far. I keep waiting for Jost to really pick it up. Of course, Makar didn't stay scoreless for very long at all at the NHL level. And things look pretty good for Colorado. Smith has a 926 save percentage. Grubauer has a 928 save percentage. Grubauer has definitely been outplaying Smith over the last game and a half, I want to say. And for Calgary, you're not in a position yet where you're going to think about going with Riddick. But if they get bombed tonight by Colorado, going home, you might want to think about going to Riddick. I don't know. It's like I said, going to the playoffs. All this talk about tandems in the playoffs. It doesn't really happen. Usually you'll have your starter, and you'll stick with that starter, especially over 7-game series. Over extended periods of time, maybe you switch. But for the most part, it's usually one goaltender for any given team. And there you go. We are going to see some interesting hockey tonight. Like I said, one of these series at least probably ties up at 2. I think the other 2 probably go to 3-1. Honestly, and I'm going to do this because I know my track record is just absolutely hideous. Because every now and then, it's my brain getting ahead of my mouth. Every now and then, people will ask me, I'll say, why don't you do predictions? Because I'm terrible at it. So if I had to predict, I'd say Nashville, Toronto. I'll say Calgary ties the series at 2 tonight. They come up with some sort of a miracle on the road, and they tie the series at 2. And the teams I cheer for go down 3-1. That's my guess for tonight. Part of the reason I'm wearing Boston is because I think Toronto's got it this time, and I'm not going to be able to wear Boston jerseys in previews for much longer. So, there you go. It should be some interesting hockey tonight. Let me know your winners, that kind of thing in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.